Folks. I was doing my walk this morning and I heard on the radio about the Netflix going to put in a bid to buy a closed military base. And first thing I thought about, military base. And then they said it was in New Jersey. And then I said, in New Jersey? And then they talked about it being Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. Then a couple of things hit me right away. The reporters, as they often do, they call an army post a base. Okay, now I just want to give you a little education on this because it kind of bothers me, and I don't know how many other veterans this bothers also. The bases are Navy bases, and there's also Air Force bases. The Army has posts. Army posts is what they're called. Fort Belvoir, Fort Lewis, Fort Dix, and Fort Monmouth, they're all posts. Okay, the Marines have camps, Camp Lejeune, okay, and all the other places where Marines go, they're called camps. Okay, so the Army has posts, the Marines have camps, the Air Force and the Navy have bases. And they've been doing this for years, and it just drives me crazy all the time. And I don't know how many veterans they go through the same thing with me, but I just wanted to get that cleared right away. The next thing I want to talk about is I was at Fort Monmouth. It was in 1969 as a matter of fact, I was there with my brother Tony. And it was just before I went to Vietnam. That's why I'm wearing my Vietnam shirt. And we had some fond memories there. Mine weren't as always as fond as Tony's was. So I'm going to tell you this because we were in the same training. Okay, it was an AIT, and I got a class as a camera equipment repairman. That's what I was training for. And I figured that would be my best way to get out of going to Vietnam. And it wasn't. My brother came in after I was already there, and he signed up to be combat surveillance, combat equipment repairman, or camera equipment repairman. So I knew he wanted to go to Vietnam. But I graduated first, and I went to Vietnam, and then he came in later, and everything like that. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to mention that. But what I wanted to tell you was, and one of the things I mentioned in the news story was that Fort Monmouth is not far from New York City. And here's the story. I told my daughter on my last trip back from Illinois. We had a chance to talk. It was like 18 hours in the car. So, and I told her what happened to me at Fort Monmouth when my brother Tony came to Fort Monmouth. I was there first. I was in class, and I was going to graduate before he was. Okay, and we had the same first sergeant, Quentin Dickinson, and we were in the company, and we would go through inspections. And Sergeant Dickinson always came to me, and he'd look me up and down, and he'd say, "Quinn, how come you can't be like your brother?" And I think he was from Missouri, and that's why he talked the way he did. And I says, "I'm sorry, Sergeant," because Tony, he was always strapped, and that's what we called for military people. You know what he's talking about. His uniform was always starched really good, and his boots were spit shine to the point. Me, my uniform wasn't even ironed. I never did any of that stuff. Of course, he did have his wife help him out sometimes. I think he took it to the cleaners too, which maybe helped. He was cheated a little bit, but he was always a strack soldier. He played football there. I played badminton, and I was very, very proud. So what happened was I was always restricted to the post every weekend. I couldn't leave the company. I couldn't go anywhere except maybe to the PX or something like that. But every weekend. But there was a camera show in New York one time, and I snuck off post to go to the camera show in New York. And I always went everywhere, no matter how many times I was put on restriction, I always snuck out. I wasn't really good a model soldier or anything like that, but I did enjoy myself there in the times we had. I would hitchhike. I learned a lot in New Jersey. I hitchhiked down to Asbury Park. That's where my brother lived, as a matter of fact. He lived off post. And so I hitchhiked down there, spent time on the beach and things like that. And, it was just memorable times. And I shared that with my daughter on my trip back to Texas from Illinois and visiting my other brother's funeral, Larry. But it was just something I wanted to talk about. But then when they mentioned the Army post being sold and Netflix going to buy it as a production studio, I says, wow. And it just brought back those memories of me and Tony and Fort Monmouth and Sergeant Quentin Dickinson. I will never forget that man. Many times he told me I needed to be a lot better soldier. I never really did get there. That's why I was only in the Army for 4 years and 8 months, but I didn't make it a career for sure. But it's just one of those moments that I just wanted to share with some of my family who had never heard that story before about Quentin Dickinson and me and Tony being at Fort Monmouth together. We shared it between ourselves and maybe some of the others in our family, but not a whole lot of people. But I did want to also clarify that armies have posts, they don't have bases. The Air Force has Air Force bases. The Navy has naval bases. The Marines have camps or Marine camps. Okay. And just wanted to get that window. That's just me spouting out this morning about something that brought a little nostalgia to me today. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe you learned something about the declarations and all the people that are in the news business. Yeah, I believe that. I was there too. And we definitely had to say those things correctly, especially if you're working in a news agency right outside of a military post. Okay. Well, give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't, well, do what you want to do. And any comments you have, I appreciate those in the message below. Well, that's it for now. See you on the next time.